Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Not Another Ages podcast. It's your Friday night edition. Scott is currently looking at the YouTube screen to see that we're not all over the place. How are we looking, Scott? We've got a thumbs up. Good. On Monday night, people were getting seasick apparently trying to watch us as we're jumping from screen to screen. So, fortunately, it seems to work tonight. We've not done anything differently, so who knows how that's happened. But welcome to tonight's show. I'm Gary. I'm your host, and not much an agenda because, to be fair, it didn't seem that difficult to do. Again, we could pick it in most of the European games this season and talk about much of the same stuff. So we will talk about the game last night, which ended in a disappointing draw. Some positives, some negatives, somewhere in between. Focus a little bit on the game against Falkirk, which is another big game, domestic game, as we look for 5 wins in a row. And we may talk a little bit about directors of football, sporting directors, chief execs and things like that, but not for any great depth because, one, if you've seen the betting, I don't know any of these people's name, who they are. They could be all the ones that I've never met them, never seen anything about them. I don't know who they are. How are we to say whether they're good, bad, or indifferent? But we will talk a little bit about them and probably more a little bit about, I suppose, where we're at now at this time of the season. So, welcome to Scott. How are we, Scott? I seen you 24 hours ago, so probably not much has changed.
Not a lot, Gary. No, I was off a day, so I've not really done a lot, to be fair. First day off in a while, so I was off a day and watched a episode and a half of Stranger Things and that today stuff, so I was actually enjoying it as well. So try and catch up with the rest of it before we go back to work on Monday.
So I need to put a comment up there from Sniper there. So I'm standing outside Ibrox, except that's how Ibrox looks to me. You ever remember the film Zoolander? The friend that remembers the film Zoolander, there was a wee tiny model of things. Was that what's this? A centre France? Is that what it was? That was the joke.
It needs to be at least 3 times bigger.
No, I found it on my phone. I thought we'll give it a wee go, see how it looks in the background, whether it stays or not. When you start moving about your head, it looks a bit odd. So we will see. So just as I said there, Scott was come up the stairs to join me at the very back of the broom, and he wheezed his way up from the bottom of the broom and rear to the top of the broom and rear. And I had to sit down for 15 minutes, didn't you, Scott? It was a journey up to the back of the stand.
It was. I used to sit at the very back row, Gary. It brought back nightmares because I struggle to see at best at times. So when we were up there, brought back bad memories. So I prefer I've been down the front. At least I can see a bit more. I still can't see much, to be fair, but it's a lot better down the front than it is up the back. I pity you get up there every week. It's brutal.
Nah, is that why I kept tapping me asking what player that was?
That was me asking you, and you're blind and all. You and Johnny, that was going on. We don't know. Why was that a handball? We don't know.
No, is it giving a penalty for? Why is VAR involved? And we will talk about some of them tonight as we go. Cameron, how are you? How have you been this week?
All right, mate. Not too bad. It was a bit optimistic yesterday. My mistake. But no, I'm always happy when it's Friday. Friday's my favourite day of the week.
And that's because it's the weekend, is it? Or is it just because it's the day before Saturday?
Well, usually Thursday night's a Rangers night, so I can sort of bounce into work in a good mood, but not today. What a pesh, as you usually say.
And Ricky hasn't joined us this evening. Who knows where he is? Scott tells me he's still on X, arguing with people potentially. So he may come at one point. We've not heard from him, but I did see the comment there, which would have been great if he was here from David about anyone missing Dessers and a guy could actually score goals and actually shoot on target. We were talking just before we come on, funnily enough, about how when players are injured or they're no longer there, they become much, much better than they were when they were there. And Dessers is probably a good example now. I haven't watched 3 strikers that none of them can shoot between them at this moment in time. So that's probably a really Dessers comment of the evening. I don't think we'll probably say much more on him for there. So we all covered the game last night. It was a bit of depth because it was only 24 hours ago or 22 hours ago it finished, and we will kind of dissect some of the good, bad, and negative points about it, of which there were many. I suppose we'll start with the team lineups. So it's interesting in the group chat, Cameron, we're kind of talking about team lineups, and it's kind of hard to judge when you see the team lineup what formation it's going to be. Do you know? I think we've talked about, is it going to be a 5-3-2, 3-4-3, 4-3-2-1? Can't remember that. Was that 4-3-2-1 is how you do that? So some sort of thing. All the different variations of it, but it ended up being a 4-3-3, I think.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't know what it was. I think it was a 4-3-3, to be fair. But yeah, I saw that lineup and that was my initial reaction was 4-3-3. But then, like I said, it could have been a 3-4-3. It could have been a 4-4-2 at a push. Could have been anything, to be fair. So I was slightly shocked that Chimity started. I thought Miofsky did all right on Saturday. I thought he did enough to start. And I was shocked that Magoma was rested. And I thought that of all the games, he wouldn't have rested him last night because he would have been a bit more of an attacking outlet than Aaron's was. Kept cutting inside on his right foot all the time, which was just obvious that he was going to do that. And obviously, I think he played Danilo out on the left, didn't he?
Left wing, aye.
Yeah, which was a surprise given that you've got Kusama, who's a natural left winger, and then you got your natural right winger in Ant-Man on the bench. So yeah, it was a couple of surprises in there for sure.
Yeah, and picking up Danilo, Danilo, Scott can run up those stairs faster than Danilo can run about the pitch. It has to be said, isn't it? He's not the most mobile of players. Scott, your views on the team lineup?
That wasn't far away from what I thought. Gary, I knew he went back to Trinity. I think he's going to go back that way. Danilo, for some reason, he seems to like him, so I thought he would start as well. And Gisama's, I think, is always going to start just now. I think the other ones are needing games to prove themselves, but it's when they get the game time. I don't really know. The midfield I thought I was going to be a midfield 3 anyway, and the back 4 could be in at this moment in time because there's a lot of injuries. So you just play who's fit or who you trust the most. But I was surprised Magoma wasn't playing. I just think Aiden's just poor. I think he's awful. Doesn't contribute nothing. He just he cuts back inside. I don't think he's good defensively. I don't think he's good going forward. I just think he's a wasted shot myself.
Yeah. I was talking to somebody in the work about Aaron's day, and I actually said to him that he probably had a decent game by Aaron standards. So and what we've seen from the season, he actually probably wasn't as poor as he has been the rest of the season, but that didn't mean he was good. That meant it was average at best. I think, as you say, couldn't attack, couldn't get forward particularly. Some of his passing was all over the place. There was that one he punted up in the air and had to go back and recover at one point. And he offered very little to no attacking threat during the game. So I think there was a big between him and Danilo down that side. There was very little coming from it throughout the game, and as the whole game went on, it probably did mean that we were very much lopsided in how we were playing. Scott, Cameron.
So what was that? Was that about Danilo?
Just, the fact with no left side, I think they've got Aaron's who he probably can't attack or was an attacking fullback apparently in his career, but doesn't really attack very much, and Danilo is probably not got the pace or trickery down the wing.
No, Danilo's never going to be a lone striker. He's never going to be someone who's going to jinx his way through defenders, and he hasn't really got any pace. So left wing, to me, unless you give him kind of an overlapping or underlapping fullback, it's kind of pointless because he's just isolated all the time. And I don't think he's a massively mobile player either. Even when he was tracking back, he was knackered second half. I remember watching him run back at one point. It was painful to watch. I felt sorry for him. He just really laboured. He just stomped. I just thought he needs to come off, and he stayed on for a lot longer than he should have done. But yeah, they switched at one point in the first half as well. I remember watching it at one point. Tab was at left back.
I went left back for 5 minutes or so. Think after they'd be shouting at Aaron's in, and all of a sudden they switched it.
I don't know. And they went straight back. So I don't know what the thinking behind that was. But I just think at times, sometimes, and especially with our fullbacks, I think Roll's very reluctant to send them bombing forward just purely to protect the two centre halves at the moment because they're just so exposed. So I think that's an element of it. But we just had no left side. Every time it went down there, it just broke down. And then Gisama's he's not a right winger. He's not. He was very ineffective on that side.
Yeah. I suppose when you look at the crowd, Scott, so the crowd, and I think Cameron told me, I wouldn't have told you, I wouldn't have known it, but I think it was 38,000, did you say? 36,000? 10 minutes, 15 minutes before the game kicked off, it looked very sparse, but more than that, it was very subdued. The atmosphere was not like, in fact, the atmosphere was like a game against Queen's Park. Not bringing back horror memories from last season, but it was very subdued, very little atmosphere, very little anticipation from the crowd.
I think, Gary, every game is similar at this moment in time. European games used to get a buzz, some league games, but there was roughly the same kind of crowd at Livingston as well. I think that was about 35 as well, 36. So you're getting the people to go because they've got season tickets. You're getting people that went last night because they've obviously bought the package. But you see people going into the gates and scanning tickets and then scanning another ticket because you're having to scan people's tickets who's on there. So it's putting the numbers up, but the seats empty, if you know what I mean. Just so you don't doesn't look like you've missed a game. But no, I thought the game was very flat. I thought both teams were very poor, to be honest with you. I thought the game was flat, it was slow, it was very passive, wasn't a lot happening. If it wasn't, you take the Union Bears away for that stand, Ibrox have been very, very quiet because there wasn't a lot going on. You heard people talking amongst themselves rather than anything else.
Yeah. Do you know, I never thought that. My daughter was unwell last night, so was I supposed to scan a ticket as I was going? I realised that was the thing I was supposed to do. Who knew?
That's what people do. That's what my sisters do. That's what other people do. I don't know if it's a thing, but that's what they do.
So Braga themselves, I mean, Braga had started well, 9 points after 4 games, where had beaten Celtic obviously a couple of weeks previously. Cameron, I'd listened to some information about them. They're supposedly very fast, high pressing, quite quick rotations, all that sort of stuff that goes, all the buzzwords we say nowadays. I thought they looked pretty adequate at best during most of the game. Certainly the first 10-15 minutes had a couple of chances, but more through our own doing, and nothing even fantastic chances. But other than that, they were pretty workmanlike.
Yeah, I thought they seemed a bit shell-shocked the first 10 minutes, to be fair. Kind of our structure of our press. To be honest, they gave the ball away a little bit in the first 10 minutes, but they got to grips with it. I mean, to be fair, we could have been 2-0 down within 20 minutes if it weren't for Butland. He's made 2 really good saves. So maybe if they go in, it's a different game for the rest of the night. But I didn't think they were particularly anything special. Again, they never really looked like to get out of second gear. I don't know whether that was because they were either struggling to play against the structure, but I just thought they were average, to be fair, and they're 5th in Europa League. I think that shows the standard. Yeah, we're just out. We're rotten, ranked rotten.
And I think that's the depressing thing for most Rangers fans is those 5 teams, all 5 actually, or maybe bar Roma, 4 of the 5 teams bar Roma potentially, teams that are swept aside quite easily in the last couple of years, whereas now we actually look like a Kilmarnock playing against the Rangers or whatever, as a team that's struggling again to actually really penetrate, playing some high balls, looking for the odd bits and pieces, as opposed to a team dominating the park. I think it's said first 10 minutes or so, the first 15 minutes, sorry, did a couple of chances. Butler makes a good save. The other one, he's out quickly and gets to it. I mean, it wasn't a great chance. I think the first 25 minutes, Scott, that we weren't particularly good at all, but then started to come into the game. From there, I think the next 25 minutes we then started to take a bit of control after that.
We huffed and puffed, Gary, didn't we, the first half, then we getting a wee bit more. I thought Barham was decent last night. I thought he was all energy. So did Raskin and Diamandi, to be fair, but the 3 of them did give the ball away quite a lot. Nico gave it away quite a lot. Diamandi was getting caught, but he gave it away. And I did say to you, Gary, the second half when he was on a yellow, he should be taken off already. But I was obviously I'd left by the time he was sent off, so I don't know what happened. But he was always that's deal because he does make nice challenges. I don't know if it was a second yellow or no, but he does make nice challenges. I have seen it, but it's one of the ones that could be a yellow, it could not be a yellow. I think the referee was honking myself, but the 3 midfield they worked hard, but they didn't offer a lot going forward, really, did they? And the front 3 were worse. Dramati, I know I keep getting back to transfer fee, but that boy shouldn't be at Rangers. That boy should never have been at Rangers. I know you can say it's not his fault, but that's a sack in itself. They all should have been sacked after that deal, not mind anything else. Daniel's not good enough, and Miovski, a lot of folk, he's a kind of enigma. Some people like him, some people don't think he's good enough, but I think if you give him a run of games to show what he can do, because I think you need to give him that, I think he will score goals. The problem is when he plays, he comes very, very deep because he gets frustrated. And he shouldn't be coming so deep because that's not his game. So I think if he stuck him up front and just told him to stay there, like other teams do it to us, teams do that to us, just leave somebody up and don't tell him to come back, do that to us. And I think if he started taking, he would take the chances. But the problem is, Gassama's final ball lets him down. We've not really got anybody on the other side. And like I say, the midfield 3, they're full of energy and running, but they don't offer a lot else at this moment in time. So we are struggling to score goals, to be fair, against anybody. And probably the only reason we scored last night because we got the penalty.
Yeah. Cameron, I'm just going to pick up on that point. So we're talking about the midfielders. Barron was obviously played really well, and there's an argument why he could take off. So we'll be coming to that later on. Raskin, I think I've seen you talking in the comments really about, I think your view was, is he ill-disciplined and just running about the park for himself, or is it a tactical thing? And I think there's a big debate around Nico Raskin now, understandably because he's Rangers' best player and his form isn't great. he was pretty poor last night. His passing was loose, and he never really got in the game the same. I thought actually of the three midfielders, he was one that struggled the most.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with him. And when Barry came in, he sort of played higher up the pitch, and you could see his quality higher up the pitch. He was sort of getting more involved in goals and assists and things. And even when he played in the six, sometimes I remember his pass at Fenerbahce where he played a great ball, breaking the lines through for Czerny to make it 3-1. But he just at the minute he just either looks. I think I said to Scotty last night. It's either he said it was either ill discipline or freedom, and I don't know which is which. Because if you're a six, if he's playing as a six, your job is to protect the back four and stay in front and protect them, and then you offer a pass for the fullbacks to switch to play. And he just wasn't doing that. He just kind of just went where he wanted, and a lot of times he'd stand in Barron's space. He was quite close to Barron sometimes, which I thought was needless. I don't know what's going on with him. I really don't. He doesn't look the same player. He looks like he's got his eyes on away. I really do. I don't. It doesn't. It looks like to me he doesn't play with the same fire in his belly at times. Yeah, I think at this point, if you were to get even 5 million for Raskin in January, I think you take it. You take it. I don't think he's signing any deal. I don't think so. I'm just saying if you get any money for him, it's better than no. But I don't think he's signing a new deal. I think he's got his eyes elsewhere. To be fair.
I get the point. Some money's better than no money, but Scott's shaking his head. You know, if you accept 5 million for a current Belgian international, I think even with
he's got 6 months left on his deal.
18 months left.
Oh, is it 18? I thought it expired in the summer.
No, it's another year after that.
Oh, is it? Oh, right, okay.
You want change the price? You change the price?
Yeah, 10 million, double it. Do 10.
Right, you happy enough with that, Scott? Settle for that at the worst.
No, he's worth more than Chermity, I'll tell you that.
right. Let's go with Chermity, right? I'm going to actually be a lone wolf here, right? And say that I said to you last night, I can see attributes in him, right? You do see attributes as a target man. He can hold the ball up. He's got a bit of pace and power. But his issue is he can't shoot. He doesn't look like scoring. He doesn't look like he is a goal scorer in any way. He has got some skills. I
said that a couple of weeks back. I said he isn't going to be a boy where you're looking to get 20 goals from him. He just won't. What he is if you get players in and around him, he can bring them into the play. So if you're having him as a target man, you need to get runners off him or get someone near him so he can touch it down for. But he's not going to go on and score 50 goals. I don't even think he'll hit 100 goals in his career. I genuinely don't. But like I say, he's a big target man, and I thought he did okay as to in terms of that. But he's just, you want a striker who's going to score goals, don't you?
I mean, he is a typical Everton striker, Scott. You know, he's a guy like your Beto or Calvert-Lewin and all these other ones they've had. The big target man that get guys round about him, and that's I think that's the issue in some ways. You know, you've talked about Miovski there. Maybe actually having Miovski and a striker that's mobile round about him in a 4-4-2, it may actually work better for both of them.
I just think he's wrong as anything, Gary, and he shouldn't be at Rangers. I don't see any attributes at all. He holds the ball up at times, but I don't see the pace and power. But that's only my opinion. I could be totally wrong, but I don't see any pace and power. For somebody his size, he's kind of powder puff to me. But
he got bullied second half. He got absolutely bullied. He was just on the floor all the time.
He's on the floor just as much as Gassama, put it that way.
Yeah, I just remember centre half just barging him over, and there was no bite from him. There was no fight from him at all. He just got barged over and would stay down. And I just thought that was really disappointing, to be honest, for a lad his size. And given it's Portuguese as well, I thought he'd have a bit of fire in him.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not saying he's good. Please, in the comments, don't shoot me for saying he's good. What I'm saying is that there's attributes there you can see he's got certain things. You know, whether they can ever develop them enough, and whether should be paying $8 million for somebody that might develop them is a whole different story. But we are where we are with that one. In terms
of developing thing, Gary, I think this poor trading thing, I think we shouldn't be looking at it this time. I know it's there for us. I know we've done it. You can say we've done it with like a man to a point, maybe other players in the past. But at this moment in time, we need to build a squad of players who are going to challenge, who are going to challenge for cups and challenges for leagues domestically just now. The player trading model should be put aside until you've got a strong enough squad and you're challenging for stuff and maybe winning things. And then you say, right, we can go down the route of buying younger players. And then they get time to come in and out the team, come in and see what's going on, get back out and stuff like that. And then you can say, right, next season he can have a go and stuff like that. But bringing this lad in for £8 million, £10 million at his time, when the squad's absolutely awful, you've got all your hopes on this guy who's as rough as anything, as raw as anything. It was never a deal we should have made, considering that was the majority of our budget. So you wait until you've got a decent squad and a team that's challenging, and then maybe bring potentially players in like that. Like he done Mega Man, he didn't come straight in. He worked at it behind as a player just on the bench or working in training. He didn't get thrown straight in like him. So he had time to work before he came into the side, and look at him now. I just think it was a wrong move that we made. And that's a sackable offence, like I said earlier on Thelwell. It's not a deal Rangers at this moment should be making. It we should be in a moment in time is building a squad where we can put a sustainable challenge season in, season out, instead of this rebuilding every season because the recruitment's been total dog shit.
Yeah.
Do you know that way? And that's the problem.
I think that's it. You know, I mean, it's quite evident when you watch them. They've obviously bought, as we know, they've bought a lot of younger players and loaned a lot of younger players and all the stuff that goes with it. They've not bought the right players. I think we all know that. There's no debate on that. Even looking last night, it's quite a young team, bar the ones that were there for a few years, and they don't know how to deal with it. But on the actual game, then, Scott. So I'm trying to think of the main instance. There was Danilo had a chance, good ball by Tav into Dio. Dio maybe plays it slightly behind him, and Danilo just fluffs his shot. There's then the only other real opportunities are a couple of penalty shouts, one given and one, well, not even and one not given. So there was one, Gassama looked like he was shoved from the back, but as you say, he's down that frequently. It's hard to judge whether he's actually touched at all. And then the one given for handball. So I'll let you pick up on the kind of three main things. So we did find the last 20 minutes of the first half, we did start to take control. We're pushing forward, but never really creating enough of a lot.
We took a wee bit more control because we were putting balls forward more instead of just sideways passing and backwards again. Sometimes we're scared to take a risk in case we give the ball away and the players get lambasted by the fans or with teammates, with the manager. So take a chance, because one of these times you play a ball forward, you can create something. Danilo, to me, has to do better. He's a striker. I know every striker scores their chances, but he has to do better. He kind of took a touch, in my opinion, but he tried to take it early, but he just put it straight down the goalkeeper's throat. Didn't even quite an easy save in the end. The two penalties, Gary, listen, I struggle to see the telly sitting on my couch, so don't even ask me about two penalties. I couldn't tell you what was a penalty, what wasn't. I just go with the VAR guy. When he went to the screen, I said, he's given a penalty. Gassama does go down early. Too easy, I have to say. Constantly, see if he stayed on his feet more, he might get more as well. But as soon as anybody gets near him, he's going down, and that's not a game I want to see him playing. It's very, very frustrating. But I don't know if he was touched or not. I've seen the highlights, and there's a bit, but not a lot. But the penalty, listen, it came off his hand, but it came off his hand. We didn't get Livingston didn't get a penalty, but we get the penalty. So sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. Like I say, the ref last night I thought was poor, but he gave us a penalty and Tav put it away very, very well.
Yeah. So Cameron, you're watching the game on TV. So as Scott says, it's the other end of the pitch for us. I think we are looking about, thinking what's happening at certain points in the game. You kind of see the referee was given a lot of bizarre decisions, so it's hard to judge. So obviously the one the Neil hits looked as though a bit behind him. He should do better. I've seen Great Walls put a comment in. Chamiti had one at the back post that he tries to chest down rather than hitting first time through a lack of confidence. And then Gassama one did look like he was nudged. And I think you'd actually said in the comments at the time that looks like a penalty. And then the handball.
Yeah, the Gassama one was a weird one because there actually is a pushing motion from him, from the defender. So I did think I don't know. It would have been soft, but it's probably one of them where you see. I think that gets given in Scotland, to be quite honest. That one, so maybe I'm just used to SPFL standards. But then the handball, handball. His arms way out. It's a penalty. They get given every week, I think, in UEFA competitions. To be fair, but yeah, I thought the referee, he just did not allow that game to become a game of football. He just didn't allow it whatsoever. I remember there was one where Chamiti was chasing down a ball and he got past Lagabielka and he pulled him down and somehow gave a foul against Chamiti.
Was there not at least one with Gassama as well? I remember that Gassama's running, wins the ball and gets the front, and then he pulls him down and he gives a free kick
it was just bizarre. It really was bizarre. And I know sort of Dio got sent off at the end. I'm not quite sure how that was a second yellow, if I'm honest. I thought that was extremely harsh, to be quite honest. I didn't think that was necessary. I don't really know how that's a yellow card. But
So we're getting 1-0 at half time, and this is when Scott trudges upstairs to come and join me and his sister. Second half starts. We actually start really well, Scott. Do you know, we're quite dominant. You're thinking, just get a second goal and kill the game off because the game's ready for the taking. I think we have a few chances here and there. I remember one kind of cleared off the line. Gassama hits one, the keeper makes a good save. Then Raskin, it was like 3 in quick succession, wasn't there? So Raskin's a header. And that first 10 minutes, you're thinking, yep, I'm happy with this. We're dominant. Let's get the second goal and finish this game off.
We're actually playing quite well. They wee bit of confidence and a wee spring in their step, and they were looking, I'm not saying control, but they looked under no pressure at that point, and you can see they were trying to get the second one. It just wasn't working. But I think a sub in would have helped us. I thought Danilo was struggling. I thought Dio was struggling as well, but obviously he never went off at all. And Jamaica, he was struggling as well. But I don't know. I mean, Danny always made a few subs at half time recently, hasn't he? And then.
Do you know what? That far better there. Great ball. Sorry.
That's Gary for you. Great ball. He's no good with his words. I've just lost my train of thought now.
Started well. Second half. It was all going good. Me and your sister were having a great time.
I think I'm on the wrong podcast here.
Sorry, great. Well, your sister watches this as well. That's going to sound worse.
She does as well. No, I thought we were okay. I didn't think they were great, Gary. But we're not great either. But I was expecting more for Braga because we have played them a few times recently, and they've always looked a competent side. But we've always got a result. But I didn't think they were great. I didn't think they were causing any issues. You said we were causing more yourself, but we were only getting that second one, and I thought it was going to end up just finishing 1-0, obviously, but obviously it never. But I don't know, it's just you're expecting some because of a European game. We've all been there on European nights, and places been bouncing. It lifts the players to push them forward an extra, an extra 10% confidence or that, whatever aggression, whatever, just to push them. But we weren't given that for the crowd, and the players were, don't know, the kind of energy went out some of them, and it was just a case like try to keep ball, and that's what causes problems because Jigga can't pass water. Big Fernandez done okay actually last night. I think the more game time he gets, there's something there with that guy. He's good in the air. He's passing was slightly better, even though sometimes it's quite suspect. But his positional sense was okay at times, but it was off a couple of times. But I think if he played with a better centre half next to him, I think he could improve a lot better. I thought the two fullbacks are struggling in the second half more. Tavares tried to go forward, but when he goes forward, he leaves so much gap behind him. And Aaron's would be all sitting next to me or sitting next to you or sitting back in Cameron's bed, living room, whatever.
Cameron's bed? I don't know why I'm sitting in Cameron's bed.
Cameron's bed, I mean, one of these pods tonight.
So Cameron, Jigga's sitting in your bed apparently.
Was Aaron's a minute ago in the Jigga's here?
Been throwing balls at his head all afternoon.
This probably brings us to where we're at. So
which one is sitting in bed and miss it?
And this is where we get the sending off occurs. So again, at the game, all you do is you see Raskin down the ground. I've seen it back this morning. It's a bit embarrassing for everybody involved, to be honest with you, but he does motion his head towards him, sending off, giving after a long VAR check. I don't know if you looked at the TV, but the referee's standing looking at it. He walks away from it, goes back and looks at it again, walks away from it, goes back and looks at it again. He's almost standing there like that. What will I do? And eventually gives the red card. I think he was very much undecided. And I can probably see why, because it was soft, I suppose, in some ways.
He could have killed him, Gary. That's the reality. Could have killed him. No, I was watching it and I thought it's soft like that. You know, I was watching it. I just thought there's nothing in that. There's nothing. Raskin's just fallen to the ground like he's dead. And my missus went, "Why is he holding his face?" So well, he's just been headbutted. And she seen it and she went, "That's not a headbutt."
That's a headbutt.
Yeah, this is a headbutt. Yeah, and you could see the ref, and he was watching it, and then he walked away, and then he stood side on, and he's watching it from about 10 yards away, and you're like, right, if it's taken you this long to make a decision, you can't be looking at this going, yeah, it's a red.
No,
you just can't. If you're in doubt, it's not a red. Give him a yellow. I just thought it was really soft. I mean, I thought the game kind of summed up our season, to be honest.
The referee was a joke all the time. I'll just pick up this point, John. Who are the 3 games against? So it's Ludogorets at home, I think. Ferencváros away and Porto away is the last 3 games. Hopefully that's answered that. I don't know when.
Oh, winnable.
Yeah, winnable, and that's us through still. I suppose we'll go start with you, Cameron, because this, I suppose, is where the game gets interesting. Now, we hear a lot about Danny Rowe. We can't blame Danny Rowe for this. We can't blame Danny Rowe for that. And that's right. You know, I don't have an issue with that. I think he's done well since he's come in. He's been quite positive, and he's re-energised some of the relationship between fans and the club. However, you can also disagree with some of the decisions he's made. And I think last night, to me, was the substitutions. And I think practically each of the substitutions, if not all of them, were wrong at the wrong time and actually impacted on us negatively. At 60 minutes, we had 10 men to bring on Asgard for Danilo, I think it was, who then offered nothing. Doesn't have the pace either. He's slow when you're really crying out for a bit more attack threat. So I'm going to let you talk really about the substitutions, because I think there's a number of other substitutions that have been much more impactful.
Yeah, I thought taking Barron off was probably the one that stands out. He seemed to be the one who's offering any creativity in the final third from midfield. Dio picked up some decent positions, but on the ball, I thought he was relatively poor. So that was a strange one. I would have thought that, given that Braga play quite a high line, and I thought he'd want to stretch the play, so I would have taken Big Yusuf off, brought Miovski on a lot earlier, just to stretch the play, kept balls in behind. I'd have put Ant-Man out on the right and bring Gassama on the left, and just have them bombing forward, be direct, because they went very direct with 10 men, and actually at one point it looked like they were the more likely team to go and get the winner. So I thought his substitutions were bizarre. I was expecting Danilo to be off at half-time, because I can't remember any game that he's managed where we haven't made a sub at half-time. I can't remember it at all. So I did think his substitutions were strange. The only reason why I can even justify why he left Dio and Raskin on the pitch was potentially in case they produced a moment of individual brilliance, maybe. Maybe they're more capable of that than Byron is, even though they're not showing it at the moment. But yeah, I thought it just seemed passive. It just kind of seemed that he was just hoping that we'd sort of sneak away with the 1-0 win at times. I mean, maybe that just shows that he doesn't actually have any faith in those players that are on the bench. So maybe there's an element of that. Maybe he's just got no faith. I don't know, but it was definitely. I was quite annoyed, to be honest. Yeah. I thought his substitutions were just bizarre. I couldn't understand them. I couldn't justify them really at all. Couldn't understand.
I'm going to say the same kind of question to you, Scott, because I do get the fact that we're talking about the squad being poor and all the rest of it, but you do also need to call out when you think the manager's got it wrong. And I think he got it wrong in a lot of senses in terms of the substitutions. And now we're in the game, we're quite comfortable. And there's lots of things you could do. You could actually bring on Nagoma and move Irons right back and just kind of push going through the wing back channel. You can bring on Ant-Man and go a bit more pace. Cameron for the energy. As you say, Barron was our best midfielder and Dio's on a booking. So there was a lot of decisions that just probably, to me, had an impact on the fact we lost the game. Other than not just Jigga's terrible defenders, we'll come in a minute, but the substitutions certainly didn't help.
Didn't help us, Gary, but it was a moment of shambolic defending, which actually cost us the points, not the substitutions. But yeah, I said to you last night, I took Dio off because on a year. That was the reason I took him off and kept left Cameron on. So I mean, Ian Danilo should have been off a lot earlier, and they were, and should have just brought on Miovski and don't know anybody else. I like Curtis, but I know he's been injured and he's just back in the squad, so that's maybe how he's not coming on, or maybe he's not been involved as much. But I know he has been injured and missed a few training sessions. But Ant-Man, I think there's still some there with Ant-Man, even though I'm maybe trying to grab onto straws here or whatever, but I just still think there's some there with him. I think he's got ability, but I just think he's been needing games to prove it, Gary. I don't think he gets enough game time, and having 10, 15, 20 minutes here and there isn't going to show people what you can do. You need on a game, so I think he needs to give gigs on a game, especially now. See, European to me is finished. European games they're not going to go qualify. I know 1 point right enough takes us up 3 or 4 positions. Do you know what I mean? So not the worst in the table anymore. It just shows you there's a lot of crap teams in that Europa League. Because if he won maybe 2 or even 3 or last.
I still qualify. Oh, you put yourself mute.
We could still qualify, and you're thinking, my God, because we've been awful, but so's a lot of other teams and that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know why I made the substitutions. But every manager's got their favourites. Every manager's got guys they like. We're watching it, and they've got different opinions. As you're watching it for a touchline, we're watching it for other places, and you could ask everybody in the stadium last night, and they're going to give you different answers. Apart from probably Shamati should have been subbed first of all, but he didn't get subbed until very late on. Do you know what I mean? I don't see a point making subs 89, 90 minutes. That's just for killing time. To me, that kind of pointless, say, substitutions.
Yeah, I wouldn't go with that. I know you're saying Jigga makes a mistake. We'll come on that in a moment. I think that at 60, and Danny Rowe talks his interview, didn't he, in his press conference about how for 60 minutes that was the team he wanted to see. I think for 30 minutes he brought on the players that then probably meant the team wasn't the team. I think he probably, in hindsight, he would hold his hands up and say it wasn't the right decisions that he made to potentially cost the game. But the moment that people talk about, Cameron, is Nasser Jigga, who looks like a bag of nerves every time he goes near the pitch. Never mind near the ball. You know, all game and every game we've seen him for the last 3 weeks, he has no composure. I think I can remember at least 2 or 3 times he just passed the ball literally to their player when he was trying to play a ball to Tav, I think it was, and just passed it to him and they were on the attack. Ball comes in from a long throw, but should have been a corner, to be fair, because I've seen the replay and that was about 10 feet out. But they give the throw in gets thrown, the wind catches it apparently, and then Jigga just heads it bizarrely nowhere, and the guy has a straightforward tap in, really.
Yeah, I think it's a lack of awareness, to be honest. I mean, Tav was behind him, so even if the ball's moving like that, Tav should just give him a shout and just say, it's mine, and boot it. But he just always looks a bag of nerves. He always has done. I just don't think he copes with it. He can cope with the pressure very well. He doesn't seem to me the type of defender who enjoys defending. He doesn't love a tackle. He doesn't love a header. He kind of likes to stroll around on the ball for 5 minutes. He's almost like a Pep Guardiola style centre half in the sense he just likes to stand on the ball for 5 minutes and then pass it sideways. I mean, when I was at the game Saturday, I was extremely frustrated at how slow the 2 centre halves were at passing the ball forward. Everything was sideways back in. Jigga's the worst culprit for it. No. Fernandez can be a little bit more direct as the game goes on. He just kind of needs 3 or 4 good passes before he even attempts a forward pass. But with Jigga, he just delays, and then right at the last second when it's not on, he tries to pass it. So I don't know what we saw in him. I don't know what's happened with him. I don't even think it's a confidence thing at this point. I think it's generally he's just not up to it. I don't think this is the right club for him. I don't think he's going to develop here. I think this club is just swallowing him. I mean, in fairness to him, he went round at the end and he apologised. But
then after he loses the goal, you watch him, he looks all over the place. He looks completely shot, and then before he goes around apologising, that for a professional footballer, an international footballer, it's just not right. It's
not what you want. And the thing is, he's valued at potentially 10 million quid.
Yeah.
It's
only paid 10 million for him.
Yeah. So, I think to be honest, I think for everybody involved, if you're Wolves, you're looking at that going, he's just getting eaten alive in that environment. It's not doing him any favours. It's not doing us any favours. Just cancel it. Just call it off. Send him out somewhere else. He just shouldn't really be here post-January. I don't think it does nobody any favours.
Yeah. And then, Scott, the game kind of peters out. I know you said I'm trying to think when you left, maybe about 10 minutes ago anyway or so, when it was round about then you're saying. So the game, but nothing much happens. Made you stay longer than you wanted to. But the game just kind of peters out. Not much happened. If anything, I think as Cameron says, Braga are probably the more confident. We kind of look as over in our shell a wee bit. And the game, I don't think there's much in the way of chances for either part of the team.
I seen Butland come out for a cross or a corner.
Fumbled.
And the guy had it straight to him again. But it was a goal that done it for us. As soon as we conceded, we seemed to panic. Because we think, no, this crap again, we're going to end up losing the game. And most of them were comfortable, but they didn't know what to score until that moment of madness. And then once that happens, it's like, shit, we can't concede again. So you eventually sit back deep on the team. Just all teams need to do at Rangers now, Gary, is they don't have to play good football, just hit a long ball. Doesn't have to be a great long ball, just hit a long ball. Especially to Jigga, and he just kind of goes, I don't really know what to do here. So I don't know where Danny Rule goes with Jigga. Does he continue to play him? Does he go to a 3 and play Tav there and bring Aarons into right back and Magoma back in at left? Or I don't really know, but it's a problem he's going to have to solve because the mistakes and the bad form for Jigga's not going to disappear.
No.
It's always going to be there until somebody's fit again to take his position. So the manager's going to have to look at that seriously because he can't keep playing and thinking, well, it's only Falkirk on Sunday, we can maybe get away with it. Falkirk are going to be thinking, I hope he's playing.
Yeah. In terms of the game, that probably covers it all. I mean, there's not enough lot. There's obviously press conferences after it. Say, Danny Rowe thought for the first hour we played well. I'd probably agree we were fine. Last half hour we didn't get going as much. I think Tav was in. Don't think he said very much either, didn't he? It was pretty just, we need to do better in some cases, bad mistakes. And I think one of the things because Scott just picked up on that, one of the things that was noticeable during the game was the amount of times I suppose Tav was going off his head at different people for doing things. I watched him shouting at Arns, at Jigga, a number of them about positionally, and even Dio, I think when we gave away a free kick literally 2 minutes after Tav scored in it, and he's pointing his head, he's like, what you doing? Do you know, I think that there's a real lack of, I suppose, aggression or common sense between a lot of the players actually doing the right things in it. And you watch them, I think I said yesterday, he was shouting more and more than you ever see him because just the players aren't doing the right things.
He probably frustrated, Gary. Probably trains with these folk every day. Well, we know he does, and he probably sees different the way they play differently. He probably thinks, well, in training, I know they're only training sessions, but he probably thinks in training you beat somebody and play the pass, but here you're passing the block and hiding. He's probably saying, why are you doing that? You're a professional football player. Why are you doing it in a game situation that you do different when you're training together? So that comes into it. But I will say, Gary, see when that man was playing against Livingston, he was constantly making runs, right? But with nobody to put the ball to him. But
so
last night, Gassama wasn't making the runs. Nobody was. And even when Jigga Fernandez on the ball, Fernandez tried to put a couple of long ones that didn't reach their target, but he was trying. He made one run and he lost it. But he was, because when you look, the two centre backs do look up, and I know they're not great on the ball, but there's nothing to aim for. So all they can do then is pass it back to each other or go wide again. Because when they're looking up, it's like everybody's kind of marked. Whereas against Livingston, I know we didn't have anybody to ping that ball, but that man was making a lot of space and a lot of runs. And he's only doing what he's told to do, and nobody's picking him up. And then you think he's not been involved in the game, but he's made the runs, he's just not received the pass. So I think we'll have to look at that because other teams, when they come against us, you'll see Falkirk doing it. They make runs between their centre backs. We're not doing that at all with either wide men or the centre forward. Everybody's standing still. And that must be difficult as well if you're a footballer when your teammates are standing still and you've got a ball. Where do you play it? The only way you can play it is sideways.
Yeah.
I'm not making excuses for them, but I'm just saying.
No, I'd agree. So it's a fair point. I'm going to come to Cameron since he's eating it, and John's asking what you're munching. But so while you're eating that, you can come back to it. There we go. What's he got? Is that party mix? Party mix. There you go for those that are watching, listening, get Spotify. So. Do you know, I watched, it's a fair point. Do you know, one of the things we don't do and don't seem to do, and that man one was a great example last week, is play the ball over the top. And I watched maybe 20 minutes of the final Celtic game, right? So I know I won't get into that. The first 20 minutes, the final were pinging ball from side to side constantly. It was like they were just playing long balls. And it seems to be one of the things that we severely lack, playing that ball into spaces. Our strikers, all three strikers have got the back to goal most of the time. All the midfielders have got the back to goal, and they're just going backwards. And that, it's extremely frustrating to watch because there's always space in behind there. No time Gassama done it, but not very many.
Yeah, well, I watched just cheer myself up last night before I went to bed. I watched the Pilsen game when we were at home this season, which is probably really our only decent performance of the season. And that was the main thing, was people ran in behind, people were direct. And I think that's the only time we've done it, and amazingly, it was our best performance of the season. And I was like, so when I was at the game on Saturday, it was just infuriating to see no one breaking the lines. And I think Miofsky's the striker that you want if you're trying to break lines. I don't think he suits a low block, but I definitely think if you're trying to stretch the play, if you're trying to get runners in behind, Miofsky is the one that you want going forward because he's a bulldog. He'll chase things down for you, and he'll even get on the end of things. Like even Saturday against Livy, we played a ball in behind, got runners in behind, and we scored. And it was one of the few times that we actually tried to do it. And last night, you've got Ant-Man who's quick. Granted, I know he's in the slump performing. You've got Gassama who's lightning quick. Put the ball in behind. It just amazed me why we got to a certain point and you've got your most creative players picking the ball up. It's 40 yards from goal, 50 yards from goal. We've so much work to do. We just get squeezed and it just goes backwards and sideways. and then Chimiti would get the ball out wide, give it off to a fullback, and we're crossing it into for Diamande to try and head the ball from the edge of the box.
Yeah,
it was just I don't know whether it's a reluctance to do it tactically or whether the players just don't want to run. But I think if you're looking at the centre halves, if you ask them what they would rather do, would you rather ping it in behind the back line, or would you rather try and play a line breaking pass through 3 attacking players? Which would you rather do? They'll say, I'd rather clip it in behind all day long.
Yeah. And it's been lacking all season. We blamed Russell Martin and we blamed other things, but it's consistently been one of the things that's probably hindering us this season. And I get in Premier League games, it's maybe not as easy to do because there's not a lot of space in behind. You're literally a corner flag if you try and play it over the top because of where they are. But as you say, there's much more capacity. You watch the guys making runs, you watch the space they've got to run into, and it's just not happening, which is many times over the years, Scott, many European games have been at, and that ball quickly played down the wing, ball swept in, and Alfredo, whoever it may be, at the back post to score. But that's just, it's taken us too long to get the ball in. In fact, I don't know how many crosses we actually had yesterday from open play, very few.
Oh, poor this season. This could be a low scoring season, couldn't it, Gary? We've not scored a lot of goals at all, and I think that just all comes back down to how poor the squad of players are. No matter how much they've cost us, no matter how much we've spent, the full squad of players we've got are not good enough. And I know you can say we play against teams in the SPL, there's always a low block, but I don't think that's always the case because teams don't fear Rangers. So they're coming out more and more and more against us. Like the big guy at Levy last week, one long ball and he's through, and the 2 centre backs are Lauren Hardy, and then Butland comes out with his legs like that just to say, where's it through? So I don't think teams fear us as much, so don't have to sit with 2 banks or 4 or 4 or 5. I think they think we'll sit as deep as we can, but Rangers will either make a mistake and give the ball away, or we'll get it back and hit a long one. So we'll keep 1 or 2 up, and I think that's the way football is because teams don't fear us. And you can see that with some of the games we've played. I think it's obviously better for us when teams come out against us because it maybe give us more space. But when you defend like we do, then you don't want that either because we've not kept many clean sheets, have we? I mean, many clean sheets have we kept, being honest with you, off the top of your head. Can it?
2? Is it 2? Maybe the last 2, the couple of away games recently, Hibs and Dundee.
I always give our team a goal. I don't know why, but I always give our team a goal, maybe even 2, but you always give them a goal because you don't. The defence, midfield, and attack, you can say them all, don't defend well as a unit. We don't. And we're always looking to blame each other and say, just saying, fuck this, lads, let's play as a team here and get all together. But it's like, your fault. No, you get it. The communication's very poor. And I think we have to give Danny Rule a bit of time to get his own team together. And he's playing with a squad of players. He probably, 1, he doesn't want, and 2, he's probably thinking, I thought Sheffield Wednesday was bad, but look at this lot. Do you know that way? He turned him into a bad side. I don't know if he can turn us into a bad side. But
try to sign Barry Bannon now,
last year he could have lost in Barry Bannon.
Best player, mate.
When he come to Rangers, I know he's a big Celtic fan, but when you watch him at his age, he's giving 110%. We've got guys 10 years younger who are strolling about the park, like Boy Asgard. I mean, I watched him in England, and I've watched him quite a lot, and even people I spoke to who stay down in England always say, you've seen a really good player here. And I thought, well, I've watched him and I've seen how good they can be, but then he comes up and it's like, I'm not for this. I don't like that physicality. I don't like this challenge. I want to have the ball at my feet and nobody challenging me and stuff, and I don't think he gets how Scottish football is, and I can see him getting back down to England either in January or the summer because I don't think he wants to put the graft in to say, I'm going to fight here. I just think he thinks, nah, I want to be back in England where I'm walking with the ball for 10 or 15 yards before I get challenged. I don't think he likes it. And I don't think he's the only one, to be fair, but he does stand out. He shouldn't be playing. I mean, if Lyle Cameron's got his shoes off the part, fair enough, but if he's on the bench, why don't you give him a run of games to see how, because he knows what the SPL's all about. He's played up here all his career, so he must know the rough. He knows the rough and tumble. Surely he's going to give us a lot more in the middle of the park, and Asgard does at the moment.
Yeah, which probably moves us nicely on the game against Falkirk at 2 p.m. on Sunday. For those going to the game, just don't get mixed up. It's a 2 o'clock kickoff on Sunday. I don't know if it's on telly, actually. I'm assuming it might be. Who knows? But so it's obviously Falkirk have had a good start of the season. Just going to pick up very briefly. I'll stick with you, Scott, because you probably know more about some of the other teams. Sorry, Cameron, that might be wrong there, but Scott might know some of the other SPL teams slightly better. Falkirk are doing quite well, 19 points, promoted last season, won 5, drew 4 and lost 4, I think. It's just sitting behind us in the league. They seem to play quite attractive football, quite attack-minded, and like you say, probably will come out and play against us. You're on mute.
Again. The manager's got them playing really well. I feel like confidence. They've come up for the championship, and a lot of their players are still the same as they were when we were down in the championship. So he's gave these boys a chance to prove themselves. And they went to Tannadice last week and won quite comfortably 3-0, and that's quite a difficult place to go because we've struggled there.
Mm-hmm.
They're not more than 1-3-0. We've struggled at Falkirk early in the season, and listening to the easiest games and other teams have struggled there, and they're doing really well, but they've got a lot of big boys in their team. They've got boys that can put the ball in the net. I mean, Brian Game's still playing for Brian Game's a fair age, but he knows where the goal is. And you've seen it yourself. They'll work hard, they'll defend, but they'll be in your face. And like I said earlier, I don't know if some of your players like that.
No.
This isn't about talent or how good you are. This is about a fight, as in to say, each man against their opponent. I'm going to be better than him this day. I'm going to be better than him. And we've not got guys who are like that. We've got guys who shy away from that. It's like, I know I'm a better football player, but I don't want to get involved in this physical side. I'll stay away from him. And that's the problem with Rangers players. We're good on paper, but we're not good in the grass.
So let's look at the game then, Cameron. Right, so we have got. It's hard to judge what Danny Rowe's going to do. I just picking you and you're eating there every time. So it's hard to judge what he's going to do because he does mix it up a lot and makes it 3 or 4 changes at least every game. Home against Falkirk could be 5 wins in a row. Could potentially move us slightly up the table because Hearts and another rival have got tough away games. Not move us up the table, move us closer towards the top of the table. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? Like everybody, a lot of talk on Twitter and X in these places about Lyle Cameron and Welsh Finlay Curtis and Ciala and guys like that, particularly coming into the squad, the team. Or do you think that we'll see wholesale changes? Do you think there'll probably be much of a muchness?
No, I don't think we'll see many changes. Rolls seemed, he said it, didn't he? He said he'd win games first and then he can look at playing nice football. So I won't be surprised if we see a similar starting 11, maybe with 1 or 2 tweaks. So it may be a 5 at the back again to make us a bit more defensively solid, because I think the majority of our clean sheets have come when we played 5 at the back. Hibs, Dundee, any others?
No advances in that one, I don't think.
No, okay. But no, I can't see many changes. I hope I'm wrong. I would like to see Lyle Cameron given an opportunity. I think he brings energy. Granted, I don't think he's the greatest on the ball, but I definitely think he'll be direct and he'll give you something that you kind of want him to will on. I'm hoping to see Miofsky start. I don't think it's a game for Timothy. I think Falkirk will come at us. I really do. I think they'll fancy it big time. I think they'll be looking at the Livingston game and given how poor we were, and they'll be thinking, got a chance here. Because, like you say, we're very defensively, very frail, lack any kind of physicality. But I think they'll come and they'll play football against us, which might suit us, it might not. But I don't think they'll sit back and go for a low block and try and get a point. I think they'll probably fully come on Sunday and expect to win, or not expect to win, but they'll try to win. And I think they've got a good chance.
So, Scott, well, Cameron's talking. I was looking at the fixtures coming up there. So we've obviously got this game against Falkirk at home, which is one you should expect to win, and we should expect to win a lot of games in the SPL. But after that, we've got Dundee United Wednesday night at Tannadice, Kilmarnock at Rugby Park on Saturday, Ferencváros away, Hibs at home, Hearts away. There's a lot of big games over the next coming weeks. And if you are going to make changes, if you are maybe going to rest players that are playing every game and every minute, take Gassama, Tav, guys like that maybe Falkirk could be the game to do it, or do you think it is go strong and get the points and see where we are next come Wednesday night?
It's probably a bit of both, Gary. I think some players may need rested because nowadays, obviously, you've got guys telling you that player's in the red zone, he can't play so many minutes next game because all this stuff. And I know managers hate it, but I think they have to go with it, don't they? Sports science stuff. So I know some managers don't listen and they get into trouble for it, but That's the way they're told. So, but I think Saturday, I mean, if Lyle Cameron's fit, I wouldn't be against starting him and Barron. And either if he's going to go with either Dio or Raskin, one of the two, but I would start Barron and Cameron. I mean, what harm can it do, to be honest with you? Do you know what I mean?
Picking him because we talked about him. He obviously wasn't the European squad, but Bajrami just popped into my head there.
I mean, I wouldn't be bored if he started either, but we know what he can do because we've seen him quite a lot of times. The boy Cameron, we don't. Do you know that way? And I think he's more of an advanced midfielder. So I'd rather he started than Asgard, to be honest with you. I don't know why these guys aren't getting games. He has to see them. And if he doesn't see them in game time, when's he going to see them? Because I know you can see them in training. But it's different. You want to see them playing. And to me, if Cameron started or Curtis started, it's not going to make the team any weaker. But just probably the best team and maybe a wee bit better because these guys have got a point to prove. When you're playing guys with a point to prove to say I should be starting, you get more out of them. But when you're playing guys who know they're playing every week, doesn't matter how bad or how good they play, that kind of adverse effect on you. So I just think I would give, if Lyle Cameron's fit and ready to go, then I would start him on Saturday. I think he can't do any worse than Raskin, Diamandi are doing it at the moment.
I'd play him on the left wing
as well. Asgard.
I'd play him left wing.
And same with Miovski. You give him a run of games because I think he's a penalty box player. We've signed him. We know what Jamick's offer so far, which is not a lot. Danilo's Danilo. He's been here a while now, not injured, but he's not an out-and-out goal scorer. He scores clever goals at times, but when he's got a minute to think...
Better in the air than he is on the deck, finishing. He's probably scored more goals with headers.
I think
Cameron's brought in as a penalty box striker, so give him one of games. If he doesn't score, then you think, well, he's not good enough either, but if he scores maybe 3 out of the next 4 games or 5 games, I think, well, we've got somebody here that can, after me, somebody got to put the ball in it. We've got a lot of goals and brought no goals into the team whatsoever.
I definitely think if you put Cameron at left wing, I think his end product's better than Gassama's. I really do. I think if you put Ant-Man,
he's probably clever, more technically clever.
I think he is, and I think he'd just be more direct. And even say if he plays Magoma, I think them two could form a really nice partnership. The two of them, they'll give you energy. They'd be direct.
Makes a lot of late runs into the box, Cameron, so he can still play as a 10 because that's where he played.
He could do, but I think maybe just go with something different then. I just think Gassama's. I think we've persisted with him for too long now. I think you just take him out of the team. His end product.
I agree. You flat have to deceive at times. Plus, he hits the deck far too easy, man.
Yeah,
give him a flat and tell him to stop diving.
I think for Finlay Curtis to start, I think that I don't think Falkirk is the game. I think maybe you look at bringing him in stages. I think, to be honest, if he's just coming back from an injury, I can't see him starting. But yeah, that would be my that would be
right. So centre half, defence then, right. So obviously Tab plays every week for some reason, despite the fact he doesn't have a red zone. But you're talking about Jigga, Dujon Sterling's back. Does he come out running? NCL's thinking about the squad again now, and you've said Magoma, you're probably playing left. Would you be looking to make some changes at the back?
Yeah, you just take Jigga out, wouldn't you? I'd have 5 at the back. Tav, Enciala, and Fernandez as your 3 centre halves. I'd have Fernandez. I'd put Tav in the middle of the 3. To be fair, as the deep one. And I put either one because obviously Enciala's left-footed, so I put him on the left side. Fernandez on the right. Wing backs, Magoma on the left. I'd put Aarons on the right. Your two midfielders, I'd put Barron and Bajrami in there. Creativity and a bit of tenacity in there. And then your 3, Cameron on the left, Ant-Man on the right, and Miovski up front. That'll be mine.
I can't remember how many changes that must be. Must have about half a dozen changes for the game Thursday.
It's near enough the whole team, mate. I said I wouldn't change a lot, but I changed near enough the whole
team. And Scott, just to pick on the same with you then. So if you look at the key areas, defence, I suppose you have got Sterling and then Ciala, and I suppose arguments around whether Tav should play every week, and you've got Jigga who's having a nightmare. Would you be looking to bring in? I don't think Sterling will start the game, but certainly potentially on the bench. Similar to Ciala, he's never played a game yet this season. So how fit can they be to come in?
I would start Sterling, Gary. I would start him in a 4 with next to Fernandez with Tav and Mahoma back in. The three in middle would be a Baron, Raskin and Cameron. I would go with Ant-Man, Miovski and I'll say Barami.
I'm thinking that's a shot at this as well, since we're coming to the end of the pod right there. So I'd probably go Tav, Fernandez. We could probably just leave it, just play with one at the back, and just play with 10 men, because the other two, any of the three wouldn't make a difference. Magoma. Or do you go, when you go Aaron's right back, put Tav in at centre back with Fernandez?
I don't mind Tav at centre back, to be fair, but I know a lot of people, usually you yourself say you take a lot for going forward then because he's stuck at centre back, but I don't mind him because he's good in there and he can read the game.
The challenge is he's a top goal scorer and he's a top assist, so as soon as you move that right to centre back, it's probably...
me and you played with top goal scorer and top assist this season.
Possibly, more than likely.
Cameron wouldn't, because he'd be stuck in goals.
I know. I'm just going to comment from Andy back until we stop relying on Tav on progress. But the problem is you have to rely on him. I think that's the challenge we're at now. While you're still relying on him, you can't drop
I think we do him a favour, drop him at centre half. I don't think he's got the legs to be full back running up and down all game. I don't think he's got the legs to do it. I think we'd be doing him a favour.
So I'm going to go. I'm going to change it. So I'm going to go Aaron's, Tav, Fernandez, and Magoma. Middle of the park, I think Baron will start. Baron, Raskin, and then play Ant-Man, Cameron, Bajrami with Miovski up front from there. So Bajrami and either left to number 10, Cameron kind of drifting from left to number 10, and Ant-Man on the right. And then so it's again probably about 6 or 7 changes from the game that played there. In terms of results, Scott, then what do you think? Do you think it's going to be a victory that gives us 5 wins in a row and sets us potentially on the path to a title challenge?
The title challenge, I don't think we're in a title challenge, Gary. I still don't. I'm hoping to be proven wrong, but I still don't. I still think we'll drop too many points, but I think we will win, but I think it'll be very, very close. I think it'll probably be 2-1. I think it will be close. And it just depends how we defend at the end of the day, because Falkirk will score. And I'm just hoping we don't concede more than 1 goal. Depends who he starts. I've got a feeling he'll start Jamaica again or Danilo. I've got a feeling that's the way he's going to go. I don't think he's a manager that makes wholesale changes. I don't think he is that way. Just looking back at Sheffield Wednesday, when he found a team that was elite, he kind of started a lot of them. He made a lot of subs at times, but he always kind of started with the same kind of core of guys. So I think maybe he's found a core of guys here who he trusts maybe more than others.
Yeah,
and he's going to go with them because maybe there's others injured at the moment as well. But I think we'll win 2-1 on Sunday, but I think it will be close. And I think Fernandez will score again. And I also think Miovski will score.
I was going to say who's going to score, seeing as nobody can score for us. That's so Fernandez.
Miovski gets one, he'll go on a run, but I think in his game time he'll be proving that, because I think 15, 20 minutes isn't good for a striker, because you're coming on, you're so eager to impress. I mean, the other night he came on and he was back in a position where Tav was playing, because he was trying to just get the ball to get involved. And it's like, he's not going to score for there. So just stay up the park. But he's like, if I'm staying up the park, nobody's giving it to you. I mean, and he gets frustrated, like we all do.
I think most players don't do well as just coming off the bench for that 20 minutes. You don't get a run of consistency, you don't build up a rhythm and all the stuff that goes with it. You try to get into the game, either the game's struggling, you're chasing it, or you're winning, or you're winning and it's half pace. So it's not a normal game so much. What about yourself, Cameron, then?
I'm on the party mix, so 5-0 Rangers, Max Aarons to score first.
The party mix at Max Aarons to score first, really. That's some lethal party mix you've got there. That's much better than Alexander, who he's put up a few times 2-each. Alexander, cheer up, come on, let's go positive for there. So, do you know, it's one of the things that I think I said in the chat. You're just expecting at one point to click, because you think it can't be as bad as it's been. It can't continue to be as kind of lackluster and performances. These players must have something more in them. So I'm going to go for a 3-0 win. I'd like to see Miovski start. I'd like to see him score. Why would I say 3-0? I can't think of the 3 other people that score now. I'm now lost with thinking the players that could score. Fernandez, Magoma must be due a goal. I mean, he's left back. So I'll go Magoma, Miovski, and Baron. Let's go for him. He had a goal as well. So 3-0 I'm going with. I think we will win. I'd like to hope that both our rivals drop some points again. You know, maybe not a 95th minute winner this time. and we can start to maybe then really start to talk about a title race with some exciting and challenging games coming up over the next couple of weeks, and that will really show us. Joking aside, that will really show us whether we're in a title race. We've got games against Dundee United, Kilmarnock, Hearts, Hibs. If you come through those kind of games, that's a different story altogether. Winning against Falkirk and Livingston, with all due respect to them at home, isn't the mark of title champions yet, is it?
Gary was eating his party mix.
He's got the cheese and onion ones.
I know. Try to stop eating them. That's what I'm doing. As soon as I come off this pod, I'm straight on a big family-sized bag of crisps for there. Anyway, thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for your contributions in the comments. As we say these things, please like, share, and subscribe because it helps the pod. I think we've got I don't know, I've not looked for a while, 1,600 subscribers now. I think Monday night's episode had a couple of thousand viewers, so we really appreciate it. People taking the time to watch and comment and contribute to it, so it really means a lot. But the more people we have that subscribe, the more people that like and share, the more we have a bigger platform to share it with other people and get more people to join in. So please do that. Scott, were you going to say something there?
I wasn't, Gary. I'm letting you just can rabble on.
That's fine. Well, I'm going to finish now anyway, so we're fine. We're done for the evening. Friday night, let's go and watch whatever we're going to watch on TV. Christmas movie time starting soon. You start when you watch some of them.
Celebrity gets a vote off tonight and by all accounts. So
I don't know. Do you know what? I watched the first episode. I'm a Celebrity, you all join and never see any other episode over the next couple of weeks. I don't know why I even bother watching the first one, but good luck to them, whoever is on it, and hopefully keep Kelly Brook in till the end of the series. That's all I should say. Pin up for 20 odd year ago, I remember. There, FHM Classic, as I said there. So anyway, we'll finish for this evening. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hopefully you enjoy your night, enjoy your weekend, enjoy your Sunday at 2 p.m. and Rangers play against Falkirk, and we will be back on Monday evening. Bye now.